but this is going to be a pretty interesting game. I do tend to favor Golden Guardians just like straight up 5v5, just because I think it's a lot easier to kind of execute on. But EG do have the ability to get picks. They do have the ability to go out probably more effectively to the side lanes with LeBlanc as well.
And I will say, Golden Guardian's frontline is somewhat limited. It's at least hard to execute, right? You've got Karma Shields, that helps. Lee Sin can do a little bit, that helps. Volibear in the top lane should have plenty of stats. But other than Lissandra kind of turning untargetable once in a while, you're almost on single frontline with a Trundle on the other side and a Tahm Kench there as well to make a lot of that look pretty easy on the EG side. So team fighting, I think, looks pretty solid. I do think both comps can be quite good. LeBlanc, obviously not quite the same team fight champion, but Jiizuke's LeBlanc is so good. He finds the openings, he finds the burst, and a squishy Karma support is going to get one shot at least once in this game, I'm pretty sure, if Jiizuke's having a decent game at all. Got to be a fun one to watch for, though. I'm definitely intrigued to see how these comps actually do play out. As far as starting out team fights, Wukong on the one side, Lissandra, I think the primary tool on the other. Closer, of course, can find those cool ward hops and the kicks in and all that kind of fun stuff can happen. But overall, going to be a very exciting game. I think these teams are fairly close in skill right now. I think Golden Guardians got robbed of a couple of their wins. I think their record should look a lot closer to EG's than it does today, and so I think it's going to be a fun game.
Yeah, it should be really interesting. You know, some very interesting compositions, I think. You know, as you say, clear go buttons, I think always makes it kind of fun to watch, as both teams know exactly what they're looking for, know what they have to prevent, and what they have to be able to execute on. And, you know, it's kind of just who's going to be able to handle that better. But I do expect EG to look more for skirmishes, more for controlling vision and finding people out of brushes with things like the LeBlanc, because I do think if you just have like a full in-vision, straight-up 5v5, their frontline killing isn't the best. Yes, there's not like incredible tanks on the other side, but it's going to be tricky for LeBlanc anytime you go in. If you do get ulted up by Lissandra in a team fight, you can't expect to just get 100 to 0'd in that. So probably going to be a bit of the evasive play. You know, go out to the side lane, try to get someone to rotate, try to catch them in rotation, try to have multiple people go to one side of the map, and then look to attack the other.
Okay, gonna be a fun one to watch for as we get ourselves on to Summoner's Rift for Evil Geniuses versus Golden Guardians. 5-3 versus 3-5, as both these teams will finish up their first round robin, which is play each of the other 9 teams once. And they're both going to sit around 50-50. I'm going to spend a little bit more time talking about Golden Guardians. They have yet in their history as a League of Legends team been able to finish a split above 500. They have never gone 10-8 or better. Coming into the split, I thought this was the roster that would do it. This is a team that could find 10 or more. I thought they could. Honestly, they've lost 2 games with Dragon Soul. Like, if you just finish out those games, that is 5-3 going into maybe 6-3 if you can close one out. That is the kind of start that Golden Guardians would have loved to have seen. Again, very, very close losses have kept them sub 50%, but I think the back half of the split, this game included, can definitely go well as Closer does a leashless red. It's going to be sort of Volibear scouting for info up there. Meanwhile, Evil Genius is hoping just return to form of what they had in the spring split, where they were maybe the second or third best team.
Yeah, and I think the Golden Guardians point is interesting because, as you say, they've had a lot of close losses. But the other thing we always have to keep in mind with that is the compositions that they drafted in those close losses, right? And the advantages that they threw away sometimes to actually not be able to close out those games. Because oftentimes, you know, in those early stages, they were drafting things like Nidalee, like Jace, you know, all early game, you know, high tempo, high pressure, and they were creating these enormous leads but kind of failing to close out. So it is obviously difficult if you draft, you know, more for the late game then to put yourself in that advantageous position, and we'll see, you know, what sort of style they want to kind of go back to. As that's a cute little mini game there. You could see as Jiizuke distorted forward, Damonte, you know, is expecting Jiizuke to distort backwards when he casts a spell. So he actually threw his Q towards where the distortion would go back to. And Jiizuke actually just held on and just stayed in for an additional auto, so dodging that out. And there's lots of little mini games in this matchup, which is one of the reasons I kind of like it. You know, as the Lissandra, you're trying to actually land the W immediately as LeBlanc distorts in to root LeBlanc and proc your Aftershock so you can have a chance of winning those trades.
This is already a play as Zeyzal wants to walk up. Can't quite find the slow, but Svenskeren knows he was not spotted on the way in. Pop sweeper early, and now Closer wants into the mid lane, but look how low Damonte is already. Under 200 HP, Jiizuke distorts away, stays alive, doesn't have to burn any summoners. FBI gets some poke, and ultimately no gank through for Svenskeren, as he is up 1 camp on the Trundle, and both ganks don't amount to too much.
Yeah, Jiizuke is honestly slamming Damonte right now in this 1v1, though. It's, you know, generally not going to look this one-sided. He has been getting the better of so many of these trades, and Damonte is actually going to have to TP back already. Which is pretty rough because, you know, if we could actually see Jiizuke be able to just get this wave push in, he may not be able to do it, but Svenskeren is here. So, I mean, if Trundle just shows up and they just escort the wave in, you could actually hold your TP and just be able to walk straight back to lane, you know, get a much better buy and still have that teleport available for later on.
Absolutely the case. So the shove comes in, and on the bottom side, Golden Guardians a little bit low on mana. They forced Bang's early teleport. He got poked down quite a bit. FBI landed some nice Qs, Huhi the same. And it means that Bang has forced to recall and burn the TP for just a cull. It's not the worst recall ever, but it means his tier stacking is going to be a lot later than he wanted to. Normally you would love to have, you know, a 1,200 gold or so first recall in Ezreal, buy tier, TP back, and then play the farm out game. FBI, you know, not going to have to be in that situation. The one difficulty to tunnel on bot lane a bit longer, though, is that this Golden Guardians bot lane is on low mana, which can hurt your ability to trade back, but they want to wait another minute until the recall so that they can get BF Sword on Aphelios. And with a low mana pool and with the Cole lead for Bang, sometimes that means EG gets to have wave control and can make the recall awkward for FBI and Huhi.
Yep, and when you are kind of locked in these positions where you're pushing and you have low mana, it's obviously very dangerous. Potential ganks can come in there. Jiizuke, you can see, did get that much better buy. I was talking about an additional Doran's Ring on top of the Darksteel that they all both actually based on to buy there. So we'll see if Damonte can get this pushed out and reset as he's looking to. Not sure if Jiizuke did actually get a freeze off there or not, but you know, to touch on your bot lane point a little bit here, you know, you talked about in draft, the reason that they're drafting this Tahm Kench was actually often to deal with the Lissandra and also the ability to play in the side lane, but this is what you're kind of giving up, right? You're picking a support that's almost worthless in this 2v2. You're not really going to be able to engage forward into the Karma and the Aphelios. If you try to run at this Karma, Karma just tethers you and walks away. Like, so you have Ezreal in this situation where it's almost 1v2-esque, and you are going to be expecting this EG 2v2 to be losing.
Ooh. He can get W'd out as well by Zeyzal, so how's the fight going to go? Yes, with Lissandra already there, he would have to burn Flash to make this fight happen. Oh, that's early. They still pick it up, though. Mountain Drake in. Nice bit of roots on both sides. Damonte, he's got to be careful. He cannot flash in time. And Bang grabs first blood.
Not a bad trade, honestly, for EG. Jiizuke able to get them something back there as Svenskeren went for the steal. You know, clever little usage of the Tahm Kench to devour over the wall so he didn't have to flash back out. He could have if he needed to, but didn't actually have to blow that summoner. So Golden Guardians do end up grabbing the dragon, but they lose first blood, and they are going to lose at least a couple minions here for Damonte. The fact that this Ezreal that is supposed to be in this losing 2v2 actually got that first blood is a pretty big deal as well, because that's going to set him up very effectively. Svenskeren did hop in, but honestly, he hopped over pretty early to be able to actually try to steal that. It was way too healthy. The smite did come down early, but no one from EG was in position. Then a nice distort forward from Jiizuke allowed that chain to land. That sets up for the easy skill shots there from Bang. And honestly, Damonte should have just accepted his death at that point, but wanted to try to flash to the blast go and see if he could get out.
End of the day, it does mean about an 800 gold lead here for Evil Geniuses, as answered by the Mountain Drake pickup by Golden Guardians. Wave manicured well enough that FBI and Huhi can grab this wave without too much difficulty, even after taking the recall after going for the Drake. Normally it's a little bit inefficient, but yeah, recall's what he wanted. Bang, of course, gets to walk back to the tier as well after shoving in his own wave. And the blue is handed off to Jiizuke. So both bot lanes can feel really comfortable. Obviously, Bang loving having that first blood. Helps to push the items forward a little bit faster as well. Interesting to see Tiamat Rush here on closer. Not the most common pickup there for the Lee Sin, but it does make him really good at farming.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what it is about. You know, generally in pro play, it feels like over 90% of the time, I would say it's just the Warrior Rush. People just pick up a couple long swords and work towards that because your power spike on that is very, very strong. If you do feel that this is going to be more of a passive game, if you don't feel like, hey, I have really good lanes to gank or anything like that, then I think it makes sense, you know, to kind of adjust for the game and just say, all right, this is going to be a farming game. Let's power it out. It makes you so much more effective on those AoE camps. Taking down the Krugs, taking down the Raptors becomes extremely trivial, and you can kind of keep your farm high, which hopefully will pay dividends for him later on in the game.
All right, Minions do some good work. Hauntzer, I believe, was just slightly out of turret plate gold range by maybe under 100 units. So 160 gold just lost to the ether as Hauntzer obviously couldn't walk up at the turret without getting traded on, but sadly couldn't quite stay at the range he wanted to be. And that is unfortunate. We get the sad B come out of Kumo. He's like, yeah, I didn't see the gold swirls fly out. You were out of range, buddy. You goofed up onto that one. A little bit of poke coming out of Bang. Good reflexes by Huhi to shield in time. Still some damage dealt.
And you can see Hauntzer here is also going with the grasp. So this is kind of along the lines of what I was talking about for the trading patterns that you would want to go for. Is this going to be a nice chain landing on Damonte?
Oh, a lot of damage killers there as well. It has to self-ult for the heal. I think the claw must have been on cooldown. Otherwise, he would have burned that a while ago to get away. So that is huge damage. Damonte is consistently just attacked here by this Jiizuke LeBlanc, who's up 19 CS. He's pushing in the wave. He's forcing kills, forcing summoners. His mid lane is so much better. And now on the top side, a battle as well. Hauntzer does have the empowered heal ready to go if he needs it. Kumo knows he cannot really force the rest of the way in, and they'll just kind of trade spells for spells.
Yep, we'll be able to get out of there no problem. But that's Hauntzer still having his ultimate. He does get spotted, or should have been spotted, but this is just them trying to actually push in the wave. That's why he was committing the ultimate there pretty aggressively. The claw was actually used just trying to threaten Svenskeren, but he didn't end up deciding to take it, so EG was able to trade back. And it's pretty interesting seeing some of the kind of trading patterns around mid lane. Jiizuke has been looking very impressive. This is the style of champion that people would more closely associate with his success and been looking good so far. But to finish that point on top lane really quickly here, Volibear is looking for more of these kind of quick style of trades where you go in, you use your spells, you back off, you don't want the extended trade, whereas Wukong really does. And both these guys even have their runes set up to kind of accommodate that, right? You have Grasp on one side, so you can go forward, you can proc the Grasp, hit him with the WEQ, and then back off. And Kumo looking more for the Conqueror, so Hauntzer really kind of indexing towards his strengths, and will just be trying to keep these quick trades the whole game.
Zeyzal, I find that actually really interesting, talking about how Volibear wants the really sort of short battles. Oh, there's a kick. That was a sick kick as well. He's rooted up into place. Absolutely no way out for Zeyzal. Beautiful gank for closer. Golden Guardians are on the board.
Very nicely done there. Just hits him with the lane gank, and that is the bot lane doing a really good job tracking vision, knowing that there's no wards in this brush, and he's able to just walk right in, kills off Zeyzal, and gets the flash. So very well done here by Golden Guardians, and the timing is also good as Dragon is spawning. Zeyzal does have his ultimate to try to get back out here on the map, so it won't result in a free take.
Ooh, Damonte wants in. He's going to land the Sonic Wave. A flash to get away. The ward hop to chase. One more audible to him in, and that's a kill picked up. Now Svenskeren's got to be respectful. He's got a flash. He's got some bonus outs from the ulti, and Zeyzal's nearby as well. But that is a big play. Damonte claws in, sets at the CC, and Closer knocks down that second kill of the game.
Very well done there, Closer. Does have to commit the flash, but that is the danger for this LeBlanc. Jiizuke has been trading well the entire game, has been really playing this out so well, but does get locked down by the ultimate, and when you get hit by that ultimate, clone or not, it's very easy for Lee Sin to then hit that point and click essentially with the Q, because you are locked down, you guarantee that comes through, and they are able to finish him off.
That said, though, it does give EG the space to go for this Ocean Drake on the bottom side of the map. Of course, Zeyzal able to respawn. Svenskeren still healthy, gets to go back to this side. And the Golden Guardians do pick up a kill in the mid lane. They're going to lose the Drake for it, which is a fairly equal trade to what happened the first time around, when Golden Guardians lost the champion to pick up for the Drake. So those have been traded fairly close to equal. We are going towards Infernal Soul, which if you're a LeBlanc, you'd really like to have, and honestly wouldn't hurt for many of the other champs in this game, but as far as Burst of Champs go, LeBlanc probably tops the list here.
Yeah, Infernal Soul going to be pretty nice. I do think, especially on the side of EG, they have more kind of easy ways to apply it. The poke coming out, putting that on top of LeBlanc poke plus the Ezreal poke is pretty dangerous, as Closer tries to go in there, but Electrocute plus turret shot going to make you a little bit scared.
Yeah, he'll kill 2 camps, come back to full. Not the worst problem in the world for Lee Sin, but it does mean his gank's not very good until he can clear. I like this. I'm always a fan of the terrain changes. I think that's my favorite part of Infernal Rift, actually, is not the soul, but the fact that some of the walls are gone, so you can just kite the blue close to the mid lane. You don't have to hit your spells over the wall, you just walk it towards you. I enjoy that stuff. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Your ward spots are all different because the brush is gone.
Yeah, it is fun. I think the Infernal Rift is actually my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't really feel like the Cloud one is probably my least favorite. It doesn't actually feel like it really changes how I play at all. It's just oh, I run slightly faster when I'm going this way.
Meanwhile, pretty heavy trade that feels pretty good for Hauntzer. Second W comes down, and Kumo is having a hard time in this matchup. Knew what his matchup could have been, saw the Volibear, says it's okay. We're going for Wukong here, but it's a 25 CSD with Kumo getting counterpick. Credit where it's due to Hauntzer.
Yep, Hauntzer playing it out very well, and I think that Kumo, he's picking this more, I think, to facilitate their composition, to add some engage, look for team fight. His closer may get picked off here.
Oh, just barely cues back to the Herald into his W's to his teammate, but Svenskeren walks into melee range, gets kicked back, has to jump out again. The claw and a safeguard, and Hauntzer gonna have to ult to get away. So flashes at least weren't used, but EG still force a lot out of Golden Guardians. They get to look for Shelly here. Just enough patient left on the bar, and Svenskeren will grab the... Oh, a little bit later, he will grab the Herald.
It reset, but it didn't heal the full, so a little bit weird there. But either way, Svenskeren will eventually take this. And yeah, the Volibear is just really looking good. I mean, Grasp is also a really good laning rune. He has the advantageous matchup with this. So I just think Kumo is picking this, not to say I'm going to beat the Volibear on the 1v1, but more to say I can survive the Volibear on the 1v1, get enough farm, and then hopefully for him, take over in team fights, right? That's really where he's going to be looking to I think, add a lot of value. It provides a dive buddy for the LeBlanc. And you can have Ezreal to reach backline with the ultimate there. So if they can get back on top of this Aphelios and really threaten him, then it could be pretty effective.
Of course, meanwhile, an equal sort of lane dominance here for Jiizuke in the mid lane. We mentioned it before, but it's worth repeating here. As gold is equal, Drake count is equal, and now there is a play towards the mid lane as TP comes in for Zeyzal. A trade in the mid side is a lot of damage, and Jiizuke finally does jump backwards. Chunk down a half HP, but stays alive, and that's with Damonte's ultimate now on cooldown. Should be back in time for the next Drake fight as they knock down some wards back and forth. But Jiizuke might have to be a bit more respectful next time around.
Yeah, the Merc Treads, though, paying dividends for sure. That tenacity is very, very helpful against that Lissandra. It does get locked down, but Closer and Huhi weren't quite close enough to actually immediately follow up on it. Had they been a little bit closer and actually, land that Mantra Q, land that Sonic Wave from Lee Sin, then you have the potential to actually just straight up burst Jiizuke down. But it was not to be. They are setting up again for this dragon here, trying to fight for Vision. Svenskeren in the area as well, but doesn't have the rest of his team kind of grouped up with him just yet, so he's going to have to be pretty careful. And something else that I wanted to touch on really quickly that we didn't really get a chance to this game, because there's actually been a lot of little interesting lane matchups and rune choices. The phase rush on the Trundle. So this is something that I actually had a chance to talk to some coaches about, because I was kind of curious, in some of these matchups, like, well, why are you really going for it? Is it thinking that you can actually chase down your opponent or just, kind of play more aggressively in some of the situations? But it's actually more about the vision play. So it's more to be able to feel safe in a lot of these situations where you can go into the river and look to challenge for vision. You can try to fight for wards, and if your opponent is there, you actually just look to proc the phase rush, drop the pillar, and essentially just run away, which I think is actually a pretty cool adaptation. Yes, you are losing PTA for the early dueling power and more for kind of that team fight bonus damage. But, they're just saying that vision control is so important, and you're going to have to be this person who's risking himself to clear it. So phase rush allows you to do that more safely.
I like this timing here. Speaking of the jungler of Evil Geniuses, Herald is summoned in mid lane as the Drake spawns up, so Golden Guardians forced to defend this wave, look for the play. They're not going to get much, but, the eventual kill on Shelly, but look where Golden Guardians now is. 5 in the mid lane as the rest of EG are around the bottom river. So it's EG who get vision control. EG who gets some poke down from Jiizuke. This could be dangerous, though. The root comes out from FBI. Only a bit of poke, though. Pillar comes in. This could be a lot of damage on Aphelios. He's going to try to run away, gets the ulti down for a bit of damage. Ultimately, it's just going to be wave clear back and forth. Drake's still not under fire. The health bars pretty healthy on both sides, but that was almost the room for EG to make that play on Drake.
Yeah, they did drop Shelly, but then they didn't want to aggressively actually start up the Infernal, so they didn't really get much out of it. Jiizuke is going to have to TP back now, and this is a 5v4 at this point.
Wukong, he's rooted. Here's Tahm Kench on the backhand side. A lot of CC, but Kumo's going to be shut down. Now Svenskeren has to be respectful. Again, has the ulti on, has some stats. Volibear back into the front line, gets a chop, and Svenskeren nearly dies. Now Zeyzal closes, going to get dropped. Well played by Jiizuke. As Zeyzal now flashes out. A quick root comes in for Damonte, sets up for one. Bang over the wall, stays alive. Jiizuke could go for it again. 3 versus 4 on the map. The problem is the jungler of Golden Guardians is dead, which makes the Drake fight all that more difficult. Unbeknownst to them, Svenskeren doesn't have smite, but that's not knowledgeable right now. Ulti's not going to land for Bang. 3v4, the poke keeps coming in. And with the bait coming through, looks like Golden Guardians will have to force run back. Jiizuke gets a bit of poke down, gonna land the chain onto Damonte. Svenskeren waiting around, finds the pillar. Chunk comes in. Jiizuke finds one. How about the second? FBI on the chase, can't get the kill just yet. Here comes Huhi around the side, but be careful, the man has the man gets a solo kill, and now FBI is gonna try his very best. He should get it here, but not for Jiizuke. Picks up 2 different kills and turns the fight right around.
Damn, Jiizuke, that was sick, and it looked like they just weren't expecting him to commit that hard onto Damonte. You can see Hauntzer was kind of waiting to the side, I think, waiting for him to actually go back to that clone, and then by the time he actually tried to move forward and peel, as we might just see Kumo die again.
Yeah, a bit of a bad play by Kumo to be there on the bottom side. There's the Q gonna land, and Closer finally trades one back, but not before the second Drake already got taken, and the gold lead is wrested back into Evil Genius's control.
That is honestly kind of just the magic of Jiizuke. It felt like EG really handled that whole dragon fight pretty poorly, to be honest. They were very spread out, and then Jiizuke was basing. The rest of the team was all split up, but still moving forward. And
oh man, goodbye.
Okay.
Yep. Iceborne Ezreal, no boots. Dead to a Syndra, LeBlanc, no, Lissandra, there we go. When she wants it to happen.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not even like he got flashed on. He just basically walked up to Lissandra.
Yeah, she belted him and she's gone.
Yeah, I mean, that was absolutely trolling from Bang. I feel like
that's fair.
Way too close with his support getting vision. So some messy stuff, but not sure if we're going to get a replay to actually look at the team fight around the dragon. But, EG, their initial setup was good, but then, Jiizuke is basing. Kumo and Zeyzal are split off from the rest of the team. Then they're forced to fight, and Kumo's in the situation where he gets this, 4-man ultimate, great, but both your carries aren't even there. Bang and Jiizuke were both not there, so he essentially just died for free, and they're able to fight their way out of it because Jiizuke got multiple picks there, and he's the one that actually burst down Closer. Then he gets 2 more kills before giving up his life at the end of it, so EG does come away with that dragon because of some of those miracle plays from Jiizuke, and that's one of the things that I think makes him such an exciting player, such a special player, because he does truly bring the solo carry threat. He is someone who can just make that play, and he just decides the game.
Beautiful to see Jiizuke back on comfort. Brought it up in Champ Select. I'm glad that it paid out as well, because this man is a treat to watch. Dominated his lane, did well in teamfight. Closer wants in, and he gets the 2-for-1. Kicks in Zeyzal, the shield comes in. It's not going to be enough. Absolutely beautiful nose. No. I kick the Tahm Kench. I do not kick the Ezreal. Hauntzer wants in as well. Stun's going to land. Is there enough follow-through? Not just yet, but Bang is low. The turret is even worse. Soft. Golden Guardians, proactive in the mid-game, something they were lacking in the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, able to pull off that dive there, essentially, killing off Zeyzal. Very well done. Jiizuke, though, is up on this top side, splitting on the LeBlanc. There's not going to be, really a great answer for him. You can send Lissandra up to wave clear, but Jiizuke has been kind of winning that 1v1 the whole time, and will end up being eventually that trade. We have Kumo on the bottom side trying to push in this wave here as well, so EG will lose something mid, but get something back on the other side.
Okay, so look at the gold yet again. Right now, 1,300 gold lead to Golden Guardians. They are down a Drake. They can pick up the next one most likely with teamfight prowess. Look at this, the fact that Hurricane is done for FBI. That's the first big power spike for Aphelios you start to feel really good about. Obviously, Ezreal done with the Muramana is going to feel really good there as well. So definitely scary for both the AD carries. We're going to see what that ends up looking like. But it does feel like Golden Guardians having a bit more control over the mid game. So they're kind of 4-on-4. Looks really good. The difficulty is, as you mentioned a second ago, the 1-on-1, the Jiizuke side lane pressure. This is what has been so much of EG's success in spring, is this man taking the game into his own hands, and he's poised to do it again.
He is, but it's kind of problematic that it's like you can't always rely on every fight just being Jiizuke 1v1, right? And
yes.
And EG has got to clean up some of these sloppy deaths. As I said, the dragon fight pretty sloppy. Then Kumo comes back from that death, immediately walks bot lane, dies again, without really having people around. So you've got to be careful, that in addition to Bang just dying to Lissandra straight up in the mid lane without even getting flashed on, without even shifting or anything. You have to be respectful to your opponents because Golden Guardians does have the easier comp to execute. They do have, I think, the stronger 5v5. So it is going to be a little bit tough for EG if they can't clean this up. But if they're 4-man squad, can just disengage, and buy time, which they should be able to do. I mean, you have Tahm, Kench, and Trundle. Ezreal is very evasive. If you can just kind of hold on, you can buy time for Jiizuke to make stuff happen slowly in those side lanes.
I think you might have seen right there Phase Rusher work. Not sure if he procced it or not, but you saw the chain come out from Huhi, and Svenskeren had to walk away as fast as possible. Might have just been the W movement speed, but regardless, there can be threat on this Trundle. He's only got Magic Resist in the inventory with a Cinder Hulk there. Ninja Tabi not going to be enough to keep you alive against Aphelios. FBI is going towards Death Stance. Another fight in the bottom jungle. Damonte really wants in, locks down Kumo, but no one is around him. He's going for the solo play and is forced to flash out as no one was in range to help. Still a lot of damage on Svenskeren, who has to burn the ulti onto Hauntzer to stay alive. Kumo trading yet again, and here comes the teleport. Here is Jiizuke joining in when health bars are low. Huhi's days are numbered. Exhaust comes in, FBI wants it, and the flash comes out of Jiizuke. Haunter the front line, knocked up into the air, ults to get some health back and to disengage. But the recalls aren't going to come through. Haunter struck down, and Jiizuke finds the kill. In goes Kumo, knock up into FBI. Can they get any more? He's able to kite away and stay alive. 4v5 of the team fight, but the health bars not too bad on Golden Guardians. Damonte finishes the recall, and he can TP back in himself, but without the ultimate if he wants it. Right now it's going to be the Drake staying alive, but again, EG 5v4 can start pushing down into the river.
That was a really close fight. Kumo also going to base. He does have his teleport. Jiizuke, it looks like, is actually just taking this red buff. I don't know if he's going to take it or give it to Bang. If he did take it, it would just be for that health regen, you would assume. But they are trying to set themselves up to have Bang poke out Golden Guardians. Golden Guardians looks like they just want to try to rush this down before Kumo can get back.
Wukong showing up, now the same for Lissandra. Here comes the battle, 5-on-5, nicely smited away. But the Golden Guardians jungle, Damonte comes in, looks for the crowd control, not just yet, there's the ulti. That's Zeyzal getting jumped upon and killed. Jiizuke low, but stays alive. Yeah, gotta be careful. That's gonna be a second kill coming through. Closer can do it all. 2 kills plus the Drake secure, and now Golden Guardians feeling comfortable in this game yet again with the 1,000 gold lead tying up the Drakes.
That should be Baron. I think they can just run straight to it. Svenskeren had to flash. He's incredibly low on health, and it's a 5v3 right now. EG took so long to actually go back to that dragon, then they kind of half forced it. They started hitting it, but Closer was in range, and I don't think there's any way Bang can actually stop this.
Maybe not. 1v5, he can obviously kite very well. Iceborne Golem plus Red meets Damonte! He's going to stop one. Svenskeren walks to the front line. They re-engage on him, and now Bang's going to be careful. Jiizuke is around. No jungler should make this fight easy, but Huhi is low. Closer kicks out, and he's so dangerously low. Will he die to Baron? Bang picks up one. Oh, it was close. He gets the smite, but Jiizuke could pick up some kills as here comes the squad. Zeyzal on the front line. FBI, he's certainly going to be grabbed up, and they might not stop the Baron, but they will certainly kill all of Golden Guardians.
They're going to remove all the Baron buffs here, very likely. No, I think Huhi will get out. He did have a nice little path there to escape, but despite the fact that Bang couldn't do it by himself, the rest of the squad actually arrived very quickly. I didn't think Jiizuke would be able to get there in time, and as he arrived, Zeyzal ults in as well. Svenskeren got burst down because he was so low, but they had enough damage to knock down Golden Guardians, and they've lost all their Baron buffs except for the one on Karma. So honestly, I think EG wins out there pretty well.
So look at the game state once again. Gold is tied. Kill count pretty close overall. Drake count identical. And watch that fight again. Basically 2v5.
Yep, everyone is all stacked up here. All the poke does land. Very nice shift forward to get the last bit of damage there. And then the flash from Hauntzer over onto Svenskeren. They wanted to try to finish, but you have this split attention. And you're trying to still finish off the Baron because it was still at a couple thousand health, but now Jiizuke is killing you. Hauntzer has died to Bang, and this split focus becomes so difficult. And they probably should have just looked to actually peel and deal with Bang as a squad. Instead, they do not. Jiizuke is killing off members in the pit as Bang is kiting out and killing off Hauntzer. And then once Zeyzal arrived, FBI was easy pickings because Zeyzal had exhaust from the spellbook.
Yeah, definitely a tight one here as we recollect and look back at the game. I'll at least give Golden Guardians credit for the fact that they at least played the same objective together. Maybe the better call was peel into the Ezreal, but at least they said, no, we're finishing Baron, be smart, make sure we don't let Closer die, someone else tank the damage, okay, land the smite. Yes, the fight then went badly, but at least it wasn't they lost 4 and the Baron, it was they lost 4 but got Baron. So the gold is equal, and we go back to a game at a fairly reset state where the Baron buff power play, yeah, not exactly gigantic, obviously when you lose half your team.
-600.
You know,
yeah,
a little bit expected. A little bit expected based on what we saw from that fight. It's at least still a close game. Next Drake spawns in 2 minutes without a Baron buff on it.
Do you think when it's like a really bad power play, should it be like an off-brand energy drink power play?
Do not want to get in that discussion. However, I see what you're going for.
All right, pushing down the mid lane. Golden Guardians, they still have their one Baron buff. Keep Huhi alive at all costs. We'll see if they can get a tower.
Well, 3-shot barrage not going to land into him. FBI has to be respectful. That kick, though, look at this again. No way out for the Trundle. Svenskeren goes down, and Closer again finds the opening. Beautiful plays out of this Lee Sin, his second game on the split, and he is doing all of Golden Guardians' heavy lifting.
Yeah, Closer has just looked great so far this game on the Lee Sin, finding engage after engage, as you say. You know, kicking in targets that you wouldn't think would actually work out, but because they have so much damage behind them, you can kick in Svenskeren, you can kick in Zeyzal, and actually just straight up burst them down. You don't need to go for those more evasive targets like the Ezreal, like the LeBlanc. Of course, it is a lesser prize, but they still do get that kill. They do push up that mid lane, and it's going to be a setup for Dragon here once more. Both teams very evenly matched thus far, 2 dragons apiece. Jiizuke is going to be lurking here, looking to see if he can't find someone in rotation. You know, as the Lissandra goes top lane to actually clear that wave, you'll notice instead of going straight to the wave to answer, he actually goes into the jungle, hoping that Lissandra will move down perhaps, you know, trying to always catch people in rotation. He's also playing sweeper, so as he moves through that jungle, he can clear out as much vision as possible to try to keep these, you know, pockets of darkness where he can potentially find someone from Golden Guardians.
Well, right now, he's still going to stay around the top-hand side of the map. Here comes the claw in yet again. Look at the same target as Svenskeren. Gets the phase rush down, gets the ulti on. He's so fast, he'll be stunned. The damage is not quite enough. CC comes in for Kumo, but he's going to go down. FBI opens up, and he's going to find himself that first kill. Now the kick comes in. The Q forwards. Closer still wants it with the ward hop now as well. LeBlanc over the wall. A flash for Huhi gets away from the Mimic Distortion. And Svenskeren now has the flash, and he has running away. Here comes the slug yet again with the red buff. Closer might just have the damage. The flash is too late. And Resonating Strike comes true. Finds the 3rd kill of the team fight. Yet again, Closer with 7 kills on this one. He's doing it all, and now mid lane is under fire. The root nearly knocks in Jiizuke, but he's just able to get the Distortion back in time. Turret should still fall, and the inhibitor will follow afterwards. 20 seconds of most of the respawns. It's probably just the inhib into Drake, but Golden Guardians have complete control of the map. Inhibitor will fall, and it's time to run to the bottom river.
It was a really good force from Golden Guardians. They knew that Jiizuke had shown top lane and wasn't with the team, and then Jiizuke, I'm not sure exactly what was happening with his teleport. It did take a really long time for him to actually rejoin the team. Maybe he was waiting for gold, maybe he didn't feel like there was an angle from the TP in on. I'm not really sure, but Golden Guardians just hard forced onto Svenskeren. Svenskeren did not have his ultimate available at the beginning of the fight, so he had to retreat back so heavily, and then bang, just got caught. You know, he was casting his ultimate, and during that ultimate cast, Closer was able to actually land a Q on him. You know, FBI closed the gap onto him and got him low enough that the Resonating Strike execute damage could then come through from Closer to finish him off. And, you know, when Bang went down, that was really the end of the fight. You know, Zeyzal, I believe, used his Devourer on Svenskeren. Not sure if the cooldown was back up, but Bang now shifting forward.
That's a lot of damage. I mean, Chunks if he had a half HP. Thankfully, the man has life still to come back into this one as he goes towards Mortal Reminder to help kill Svenskeren more easily. As the wave's getting cleared down yet again, and Golden Guardians know that Baron is up in 7 seconds. Closer has been the man of the match, and he's got a level lead over Svenskeren. His smite is better, and he'll play these fights really, really well. Plenty of MR to deal with Jiizuke as well, plus a stopwatch if it gets really bad. Stopwatch also up for Damonte. No such luck on the EG side, but a pair of Quicksilver Sashes can help with the picks. First Q doesn't land for Bang. They don't know for certain where they just might be, but Closer walks in yet again. True Shot Barrage comes in a spot, and again they find the kick, but Closer has to burn the stopwatch. They still shut down the Trundle. How about the re-engage, though, as Damonte TP's in. He finds Jiizuke for a ton of burst damage, puts him down to about 1/4, just back over the wall, and now at half HP is the Lissandra as well. 5v4 in the map. Banks looks for poke, can't find it just yet, but that means without a jungler, it's time to look again at the Baron.
We'll see if EG want to try to contest this. I think they should try to go over, see if they can get some poke. They know Lissandra's ultimate is down. They know Lee Sin ultimate is down. So a lot of the hard engage isn't there. It would be on Hauntzer to try to turn, and Bang has TP'd in. They could look for the poke here.
This is the moment of the match. Damage comes in. Damonte is shut down. Hauntzer has the front line. They find some damage across. Smite should come through easily, and it's claimed. The re-engage looks good as already Wukong is gone. Jiizuke tries to find the damage, can't get it as yet, but two are so dangerously low. FBI goes in, finds some damage, Q onto Bang, closer! You don't miss anything! A double kill comes in, kill number 9 for the Lee Sin. Late game Aphelios be damned, it's late game Lee Sin.
Let's go! Closer just taking over, finds the angle on the Q as soon as Bang came out of that Devour to pick him off. And they are going to be looking to try to push for the win here. They have the minions, they have the Baron buff. Hauntzer is TP right back in. It's just Jiizuke and Svenskeren alive here for 20. I think there's potential to just close this one out.
Harvey Specter would be proud as Closer comes in to try to close this one out. FBI can only clear the wave after being chunked by Jiizuke, and it's going to be enough damage from Jiizuke himself that there's not going to be a push for the Nexus. The gold lead is big. Infernal Soul is in 2 minutes. And Golden Guardians can play around a very obvious objective to take that and close out the game.
And Closer can just do no wrong this game, though. First, the kick in onto Svenskeren, allowing them to go over to the Baron. Then they secure the Baron. He's able to always find these angles, it feels like, to pick off Bang. You know, you would think on paper, it's like Lee Sin should struggle trying to take out this Iceborne Gauntlet Ezreal who has Tahm Kench in his back pocket. But he is making it look really easy to teamfight effectively here on the Lee Sin, even in the late game. Has been playing so great, and Svenskeren in trouble here, perhaps, once more.
Not going to burn the ulti this time around. They figured, nah, Trundle tanky enough, not our ideal target, but hey, bot lane can be under fire. Baron buff obviously still on for 1 minute and 15 seconds, means some more global gold to pick up here. As they push into the bottom lane, True Shot Barrage gets a bit of damage across. A little bit of wave clear for Golden Guardians. Down goes the first turret of the siege. 8 turrets to 3. Closer goes in yet again. Has Guardian cannot find the kick back. Loses the GA, but this could be some good damage. FBI shoots in. Gets a chunk across. Bang is saved, though. Good play out of the Zeyzal Tahm Kench to make him untargetable. And the autos will not come through. Safety enough here. FBI looks for a shot on Jiizuke. Can't quite land that one either. Now, once again, onto the Infernum. Has easy wave clear. Back to full HP. Level 16. Ton of damage available. And a lot of crit chance here as well, as Phantom Dancer likely the last item to go for. 40 seconds still on Baron. Means they want to keep sieging.
Yeah, and the wave clear here from EG is pretty bad. They can use LeBlanc to wave clear, but when you wave clear as LeBlanc, you're putting yourself at risk, distorting forward. This is the last wave with the Baron buff, though, so EG have withstood it pretty well. It doesn't look like they are going to get triple inhibbed as EG's trying to run out, push out mid lane, push out top lane frantically so that they can get back and defend this bottom lane here. This is the last wave of Baron buff.
They see that it's 5v4. They know they're safe. Wardhop kick in the Trundle. Goodbye every single time. Just sets him up for the team and knocks him down. Triple inhib is in, and a 5v4 might mean the siege instead. We'll see what they want to do as the middle inhibitor has respawned. Damonte ease over the wall and burns stopwatch for, I believe, nothing. I don't believe he's going to true shot barraged. And just simply burns the cooldown out of vision. But without an opposing jungler, the Infernal Drake should be easy to pick up for Closer here as they knock down the wave and look for this Drake.
Yeah, it feels like EG have to contest, though, and again, they're kind of caught out of sorts. You know, Jiizuke's off on the side. He stayed very long up in that top lane, pushing out that wave. Doesn't look like they can even get over there to try to do anything. So will be solo going the way of Golden Guardians, and it feels like at this point, they've pretty much got this game wrapped up. EG just hasn't been able to be right place, right time. They, are obviously in a very difficult spot where you're getting sieged on. It's hard for LeBlanc to find angles of engage. It's hard for LeBlanc to come from surprising places, and it feels like any time Jiizuke isn't with the squad, immediately Golden Guardians force. They don't wait. They push their advantage. They look to take towers. They look to dive. They look to get kills, and same story here. As soon as he shows top lane, they find a kick on Svenskeren. They take that inhib, and that's that.
All right, red buff on, double inhib down. I will say that with the inhibs down and no objectives being taken instantly by Golden Guardians, this is gold and XP flooding into the pockets of evil geniuses. If you don't get to do anything for long enough, EG does catch up. Ooh, that was some damage. Mid laner's going to stay alive. Jiizuke is fine. We can see the Golden Guardians are going for the siege. Jiizuke once again finds info. Doesn't get picked off by Damonte. Mid lane cleared in again, but of course wave clear is pretty good when you're not against a Baron buff. That's not spawning for 90 seconds still, but Golden Guardian's going to shepherd into the mid lane. Closer looks at it, says no, not just yet here. Level 17 on the Lee Sin. playing around the sides. Good poke out from Bang. Gets about a third of the health bar off, and now FBI gets to attack this inhibitor. No defense like to be had there, as in goes the front line of Hauntzer. Decent damage across the Svenskeren, and Hib's going to fall. Waves will keep flooding in. Watch out for Jiizuke's poke. Again, hits Damonte. Svenskeren then a half HP, though. FBI gets the ulti in, lands into 2 targets, and now Kumo is dangerously low, has to jump back to the wave. That means the siege can continue as minions continue to flood in. More troops coming in from the top and bottom lane as well. Bottom turret down to 1/3 HP. Top one starting to take the attacks there as well. FBI feels comfortable, puts the attacks in into Zeyzal. Drops down to half HP as the turret takes some damage. A good pillar comes in. There's the knockup, and there's the shutdown. What a great engagement of Kumo, and a great follow-through from Jiizuke. Now it's 4v5. Favor of Evil Geniuses. Kumo locks up for some more damage. In comes Hauntzer yet again. Onto the back line, forces a stopwatch, a kick back. Doesn't get a kill just yet, though. As Huhi forces a flash away, Kumo finds a second kill. Close, got to be careful. Getting dropped low by Svenskeren. In comes Jiizuke for another, and then start cleaning house here. Evil Geniuses looking to close down the ace, as there's nowhere for Hauntzer to go. All 5 kills picked up, and Baron's on the board in 15 seconds.
What a heroic flank there from Kumo. I think it was that pink ward just outside their base that actually got missed by Golden Guardians, and was able to TP over to that, immediately finds the engage over onto FBI. That really felt like the only chance they had to take him down. They are able to make it happen. They are able to grab the Baron off the back of this as well. So another lease on life in this game. Golden Guardians still in control with that Evil Genius's base shattered and the Infernal Soul. But EG are going to have a chance to stabilize and start to get some of the benefit of all those minions pouring into the base, as you were talking about. They will start maxing out all these players' builds. They will be in a position where potentially they can make some magic happen. And here it is one more time. TP's to that pink ward outside the base, has the home guards, clone straight on top of FBI, lands the engage. The follow-up is there immediately from the LeBlanc, from the Ezreal as well, nailing that damage down onto him with Aphelios out. That was the main threat. That is the guy that they've been struggling so much to actually deal with, so they can start to get really aggressive. Bang, shifting in aggressively. Kumo flashing in to finish off a kill, and AG are able to pull off the miracle base defense here and get the ace plus the Baron. A big swing in gold.
Absolutely huge play. Pillar, of course, helped as well. It locked FBI into turret range. It helped the LeBlanc get into range himself, and FBI just flashed way too late to get away from that one. So Baron buff is on. Red will still be stolen, and it looks like Golden Guardians still feel like the comfortable team. Yes, they're against a Baron buff on 4. That actually makes the gold lead very interesting, because you've got the Infernal Soul on 5 on one side, the Baron buff on 4 on the other. The gold otherwise nearly identical. Golden Guardians still feel like they are the comfortable ones as the super minions flood in from the middle and bottom lanes. And we know the Elder Dragon spawns just as the Baron buff times out. Hauntzer goes for some poke, gets hit pretty hard. Jiizuke is still such a big threat.
I mean, Jiizuke is 6 items with a 25 stack Mage Eyes and a Death Cap. So this is about as strong as you can get. He also has the Sorcery Elixir. So, I mean, look at that poke that he got on Hauntzer. He has a Spirit Visage and a Death Dance, by the way. It's not as though this is a squishy target. So if that was really anyone except Hauntzer, I think they die from full. And that is the reality of this LeBlanc right now. So it's going to be on Huhi to preemptively shield as he sees LeBlanc going forward. You have to be on point with that. Make sure you have those shields down. Make sure you can land the exhaust immediately if he does come forward, because Jiizuke can pretty much one combo someone. And despite the fact that Infernal Soul still is a very big advantage, it's not a big enough advantage to make up for your Aphelios getting one hit.
Yep, that's going to be the danger here. So top lane looks like the object of attention here for Evil Geniuses. They walk around trying to find someone to kill. Can't get that one. They deal some damage to Krugs, but it's not like Bang needs money or XP anymore. He's full build. Same for the opposing AD carry. Mid laner done on the one side. Obviously, Jiizuke is as rich as it needs to be. FBI should stop farming, give the money over to Damonte, Closer, and Hauntzer to let them flash out their items. See how much more that can happen, because now where the gold goes matters, right? Every minion that Jiizuke kills doesn't do anything for Evil Geniuses. The same goes true for FBI.
Unless they want to swap up the builds, right? And that's one thing I actually would be kind of an advocate for here for FBI. I actually think the rapid fire is too aggressive. I don't think you need more damage. I think you just need to not get one hit, because LeBlanc doesn't have sustained damage. LeBlanc has burst. And if you have a Maw instead of that rapid fire and you don't get one hit, then you immediately heal back up to full with Legend Bloodline, with your Death Stance. The Karma Shields come through and the fight starts to go more your way. So I do think he's on kind of a pretty risky build here. With that rapid fire, I would prefer to see him go a bit more defensive when LeBlanc is such a threat. You're just depending on that Death Dance.
Right. Well, Elder Dragon is alive, and once again, it's time to play around the bottom river. This could be the fight that instantly wins or loses the game. Death timers are long at 43 minutes, and Closer wants to play the flank. They look for some damage on a Zeyzal. That's going to be the first stun. Perns to USS. Now the play towards Svenskeren. The ulti in for Hauntzer. They find a big lockdown. The ulti comes across as well. True shot barrage over the top. Here come the TP. Plays it. Jiizuke wants in. Kumo's a bit low. CC on Damonte. Forced to burn the stopwatch. No kill just yet. FBI is trying, but he's burning down from the death stance. Gets the shield. Tries to auto, just stays alive and finally traded back there as well. Looks like 2 alive, 3 alive. Kumo turns one back around. They got to chase him down, and they will do so. It's a 2 versus 1 in the map. Only the support is left standing, and Golden Guardians are ready to seal the deal now. 11, 3, and 11 for the jungle Lee Sin. Level 18, ready to go into the mid lane, and how does a Tahm Kench stop this siege?
You don't. There's nothing Tahm Kench here can do. He's got to try to, clear out the wave as best he can. Maybe try to devour a cannon, spit it out, do something. But I don't think there's any way he can make this happen. The death timers are so long.
Kick comes across, Q lands, goes for the dive. There's the ace kill, number 12, and no one deserves it more than Closer, carrying Golden Guardians over the finish line. 4 and 5, the record. Congratulations.
What a game, honestly. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Even that final fight was such a battle of inches. Again, as soon as Jiizuke showed in that bottom lane, it was the immediate engage coming in. And, I hope they get to show that replay on the analyst desk, because the timings with the exhaust is actually what decided that fight. Jiizuke TP'd in. It was a little bit slow, and he got immediately exhausted and decided to use his first distortion defensively, knowing that it wasn't worth going in aggressively with that exhaust still up. His second one, though, he actually still went too early. I do believe that the last bit of the exhaust was still on when he actually uses his ultimate distort in onto Aphelios. Aphelios, as a result, lived with like 10% HP and actually got a lot more damage out. So that was such a tiny thing, such a tiny mistiming that may have actually decided that game. Because if you live another second or two, I mean, that was a 2v1 at the end. If Jiizuke's up for another second or two, they maybe just win the game off that. The death timers are so long.
Yeah, I mean, incredibly close game, incredibly well fought by both sides. Jiizuke played his heart out, Closer did the same, and at the end of the day, Golden Guardians had that little bit more to close out the game. Well played, improving to 4 and 5, just 1 game behind EG, with the second round robin still to play, so we'll see if they can get that 10-win mark for themselves. Now it's time for us to step away. When we return, we've got Le Tigris meeting with Hauntzer